I'm Bob the Cigar Guy. This is Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and I am tickled pink. That's right. I'm in a good zone, a good space. I love the title I came up with for this video. I'm going to tell you what, I pat myself on the back, but I don't do that on camera. But another stick in the wall. The wall is complete. That's right. 3 huge, massive Humidors. That's right. Huge and massive. We just got this little boy right here. He's a little shorter, so he can fit up under the let me see if I can show it to you. Up under that little shelf. There used to be a shelf under these on top of these, but I had to actually cut that out. But you can see that there's a shelf right there. So if it was the same size, that it wouldn't have fit, but it fits perfectly. And being 5'8", I think it is. It's 5'8", almost 6 feet. The other ones are 6'3", 6'4". So we have a huge amount of cubic footage of humidor space, and I am so excited. I have waited so long. 2 years, a year and a half since I got the first one, which is that one, to get to these. I could have got it a lot faster. I could have bought honest to God cigar humidors a ton faster. But a cigar humidor of this quality, of this size, you're looking at $4,000 to $6,000 a piece. And so that's $18,000 for that. Now, Humidors are usually cheaper, and they're easy enough to modify. You can go the hard route and go with a cigar oasis setup or something else like that in there, and do your own plumbing and all this and that. But you can get into one of these Humidors, new, of this like kind and quality, for about $2,000 to $3,000 a piece. So you're looking at six, let's say 7.5. Let's split the difference. So we went from, what I say, 16 to 7.5. Not bad. That's a pretty good cut, right? That's over half. That's not bad. What? If you have tenacity and patience, right? I could have got either one of those in a couple weeks. I could have ordered it. They would have shipped it. Came from whatever country it comes from. And by the way, this Umbagog by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust is delicious. This is another stick in the wall. If I didn't give you the title, I got so excited about the story. It's another stick in the wall. You get it, Pink Floyd, but I love it. I think I might nickname that the wall. That's the wall. I'm gonna go to the wall and get something, because Vault was I was thinking of Vault. I was thinking of the treasure chest. I was thinking of, stuff like that. The banker, right? It didn't sound so good, but the wall. What? This Umbagog. Actually, I was going to do a whole opening the door and taking a video and pulling a box out and cutting it open and grabbing a cigar and lighting it up and this and that. But you know what? No. So what I did was I took this cigar out of that wall one, and I didn't throw it. I laid it on one of the shelves in Vault 3, the new vault, and I shut the door and I waited a couple seconds like I was microwaving cold pizza. And then I opened it back up and I pulled it out. So this is the first cigar. That's right. This Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Umbagog is the first cigar that ever was taken out of that humidor, which is now a humidor, right? But like I was talking about, you're paying money, you're paying time, or you're paying both, or you're paying frustration. There's a little frustration. Not a lot of money, but a lot of time, a lot of patience. Facebook Marketplace is your friend. We bought some smaller ones. I've done some videos on how to retrofit a winedor into a humidor, and a lot of these things break down. The compressor doesn't work. You don't want the compressor anyway. So people buy these winedors for $3,000, $4,000, whatever, $1,000, and then it's sitting in their house and they don't want it anymore. And so they sell it just to get rid of it. The humidor in the middle, the wall in the middle wall, that one, the compressor does not work on. The first one, wall number 1, does work. And wall number 3 does work. They actually cranked it up and let me see. I asked him, I said, so why are you selling it? Because when I tell you how much it is, you're going to be surprised. Why are you selling it? And I said, well, we were getting into wine. We got into some wine clubs, hanging out with friends. We bring back bottles of wine, and then we'd have people over to entertain. And we were doing that for a good while. And so we bought one of these things. And I said, 1. She goes, yes, we had 3. And I said, 3? She goes, yes, this is the last one. So basically, we just decided to stop drinking wine. And so we drank the wine. And then when we could shift it all over to 1 or 2 humidors or 2 winedors, I got to sneeze. Hang on. Shift it over to winedors. Then we sell the one. And then we shift over to where it was just 1 winedor. We'd sell off the other. Now we're done. They had no wine in the house that I could see. I didn't look through their coverage or nothing, but I said, okay. So I know you want to know, how much did I pay for these? Number 1 was my most expensive. Now remember, $16,000, $7,500. Right, those are the numbers we were kicking around. I paid $200 for humidor. Not $2,000, $200. For number 2, which is the second most expensive, I paid $100. $100. And then for humidor number 3, I paid $99. That's right. So you know the truth. You know the pudding. If somebody's new on this channel and did not come to watch this video, does not know me and how cheap I am, they'll be like, my God, that guy's got $20,000 worth of humidors back there. Of course, you always, you elevate up. Man, there's 20 grand worth of humidors in there. And then we got all these cigars in here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Right? When you can say, he paid $3.99, almost like free $99. But the cost of a very small, I've got a small one over here. Chief's got a small one over there. For the price of a very small one, the whole a suitcase of sodas, you get all of these humidors. Now they are not. This is where the argument comes in. This is where the people start to be the naysayers, which I'm fine with naysayers. Well, it's not a humidor. You're going to tear up your cigars. You're going to do blah 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 blah. You got to do all that stuff. You have to do all this other crap. It's not that hard. This is what I do. You don't do it if you don't want to. You can go the hard route. Put all the stuff in there. Do the work, right? So I got $399, $400 into this. I have another $300 in my humidification systems for all 3. So $100 a piece, right? Cost of the whole thing is basically the cost of the humidor system or humidification system. What is a humidification system? I buy 2 bricks of 68 gram or 60 gram, 68 humidity Bovita packs. A brick is 10. So I buy 20 for each one. I take 10 of them out and I put them in the humidor. These big Bovita packs. Put them in the humidor. Put more at the top than at the bottom because humidity falls. I've learned that you put more humidifying packs at the top, but you put a couple at the bottom, some in the middle. I put those in. And then when those dry up, I take them out I take the other 10. I put the other 10 in. I take the first 10, and you're like, God, that's gonna be $50. If it's 200, if it's $100 for 2 bricks, you got a full brick every time. That's $50. Man, that's gonna go up in price, especially with that much space. And you're opening up the door and dip it. No. Reduce, reuse, recharge. That's right. How do you recharge? Real simple, distilled water. Go to Walmart, get you a food safe Tupperware container. I prefer the one with the burp lid because I know the burp lid has a great seal. You're going to want a great seal. Don't get the stuff from the closet shop or the Christmas aisle, right? You want a good seal, just like you would as if you're using it as a humidor. So you're going to take and you're going to get a small bowl, small cup, small whatever that fits in that Tupperware container, and you're going to make sure that there's space above it so that don't make it to where it seals, so that none of that moisture can get into the air. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take all of the Bovita packs and you're going to put them in there. I don't like to let them touch if I can help it, which I don't. I have a big container. I have multiple containers. I don't worry about it. But I put the distilled water. I can't say this enough. Not bottled water, not spring water, not mineral water, not effervescent water, not Topo Chico water, not death water, liquid death water. None of that garbage. Distilled water. Why? Because distilled water goes through a filtration process. That filtration process removes any chance of mold spores. You don't want mold spores. If you get mold spores in your humidor bags, you may notice. And you got to pitch them by new ones. So why do that? Right? It ruins it. But you may not notice. And then you throw it in your humidor. And then you've got little friends hanging out in a brand new environment called mold. And you don't want that because that can eat up some cigars fast. Right? So distilled water. Say it with me. Distilled water. That's right. Very important. So you take that little Tupperware container, you put it on top of your fridge, somewhere out in the way. Forget about it. 2 weeks to a month later, depending on how much you open your humidor, you swap them out. Right? You could do the cheat, and don't do the cheat because you're going to ruin it. I'm going to tell you why. Running it underwater. People will do that. I did it when I first started. Hey, I don't have to do all this stuff where it just put water in there and let it suck up the water, because that's what it does. And it makes a huge pillow of water. But the problem is that membrane, or however the process works, of 68% humidity, where it pushes out 68% humidity. If it's in a 50% humidity area, it pushes out to 68. And if it's in a 90% humidity area, it sucks into 68. If you soak it in water, if you run it under a faucet, if you put it in a bowl of water, that doesn't work anymore. And all you're doing is pushing out 99% humidity. You're going to cause problems with your cigars. Not if, when, and when will be soon. I'm telling you. Understand. I know what I'm talking about on this one, for sure. I don't know what I'm talking about much, but I know what I'm talking about on this. And so that's how you rotate your Bovita packs. How long do they last, Bob? The Bovita packs will last you forever, it seems. I've got some Bovita packs that are years on years on years old. Right now, don't be too crazy cheap. You only spent $3.99 on 3 huge humidors. You've got a ton of money in your humidor, right? I mean, let's face it, that's a lot of money of cigars in there. 2 boxes of cigars in there would buy a humidor and the humidification system. So 6 boxes of cigars for 3 shelving units, and you figure how many shelves are there, and then you multiply that by 4, if not 6, if not 8, depending on the thickness of the boxes. You got some coin wrapped up. So take some time and take care of your stuff, right? Maintain it, pay attention to it. Keep it nice and lovely. I need to Windex the windows. So that's it. And I'm going to tell you, these shelves are pretty much already filled up. We have got a ton of stuff. And so I can now dedicate space to going by manufacturer. We'll have a Dumbarton area, right? We'll have a Drew Estate area. We'll have a JC Newman area, probably a Aganorsa area, probably a Camacho Davidoff Avo Zeno, Baccarat area, all that stuff. So that'll be kind of nice and neat. I already have it broken up into, there's some areas behind me that they are just review sticks. And so they're marked with little stickers so that Chief doesn't say, ooh, I'm going to smoke that. And then I didn't have time to review it. So I have my whole review stuff there. And then we have our own personal stashes. And then we have working cigars, stuff we do for the channel. And then we have cigars that we just get to enjoy. And so we'll be able to balance those out a little bit. Maybe, she's been on me about this for a while. Maybe sometime in the soon future, we will do a humidor tour of the humidors, because now we got 3. My wall is done. And so it'd be kind of cool to show you what I got, what we got, what the channel has. So, and if you ever come to visit, pretty much everything in there is up for grabs for you to enjoy. Pretty much. There's a couple things. Of course, the review cigars, no, but there's just a couple very special cigars we don't offer. But other than that, we got it, you got it. So that's it. Be patient, spend time, save money. Get you one. If you have one, let me a comment. Let me know what you think on yours. I'd like to know. Tell me how big it is. I'd like to know that too. And if you counted every last one of my shelves, good for you, because I would have done it, because I'm that weird guy. So not that you're weird. I'm not saying that. I'll see you later before I get in trouble. I got to go. I love you. Later, Tater. Shut this thing down. Let's go.